The key ingredient about the Lions is becoming a team. And that's going to happen very quickly in a short space of time.
You know, you can have all the game plans in the world you want and the structures and how you want to play, but if you don't bond really quickly as a team, you know, it doesn't matter. You throw it all out the window.
To be a Lion, you've got to understand its uniqueness. You have to be adaptable and you have to share everything you've got together. And then you bring the best out of each other.
In this Spirit of Rugby series, RugbyPass and the Famous Grouse, official whisky of the British and Irish Lions, look ahead to this much anticipated series by looking back. We talk to players from the two most recent tours to South Africa who are now etched in Lions folklore. If this doesn't get you excited, then nothing will.
One of the great things about the Lions is that everyone genuinely leaves their egos at the airport. And when you've got 30 or 40 people who are like-minded in that and really making efforts to try and get to know each other, you know, some of the relationships that you can build in a short space of time is quite incredible, I thought.
A couple of times, you know, I went into tours with a bit of imposter syndrome. You know, you get there and you think, what am I doing here? You know, you look around the room and the Driscoll's there and O'Connell's there and, you know, these guys, Martin Johnson there, you go, Jesus, you know, how on earth did I get here? And it only kind of takes, I guess, you know, one, you know, tap on the shoulder, hey, how you doing, big fella, whatever. Like Doddy did it for me in '97, you know, he tapped me, hey, Shawsy, big fella, you know, and just suddenly you're all just a bunch of lads in it together.
And I'll never forget when I got to South Africa, the first person I shared with was Keith Earls. And being the youngest member of that touring group, he had the responsibility of looking after the mascot, Lenny the Lion. And he was so scared of the Irish boys breaking into our room and stealing the mascot. He, like every time he'd leave the room, he'd have to hide in a different place. He was on edge.
Were you worried about that or not? Or would you have held the fort, looked after the youngster? Or would you have been just as scared?
No, I didn't mind losing Lenny the Lion because he wasn't my responsibility.
When we first came together, there was a lot of pacing, you know, tigers pacing around each other, just sizing up, working out how to move from that relationship, which is the opposition person, the person that you were a rival to, but on a baser level, you may have a lot of negative thoughts about it, and it was turning that into a positive relationship.
I never met Jerry. I never met Guscott. I never met Delalio. I never met Johnson. And I travelled down with Tony Underwood to Weybridge in Surrey in his Range Rover. And I asked him about Delalio and Johnson. I asked him about Guscott because I'd formed my own opinion of Guscott. And it was based on a number of things. He appeared a little bit aloof and arrogant to me from afar. Anyway, we were in the room on the day that we met, and I watched the players come in. And I was being introduced to different players, and it was great, so exciting. They were so friendly, and it was brilliant. And I saw Guscott come in. What a presence. And we got brought together. And I put my hand out to shake his hand, looking straight at him in the eyes. And he put his hand down, took mine, and when he said, Bentos. So he called me Bentos, didn't know me. He said, I've heard a lot about you. Looking forward to spending some time. And he laughed. And I thought, wow.
Bentos, God bless him. You know, I think at one stage, Bentos thought he was more famous than Nelson Mandela out in South Africa.
He was quite annoyed that you got that drop goal and that has lived with you forever. But he had his time in the sun as well. He scored a fantastic try or two on tour.
Sorry, who was it you're talking about and what did they do?
Broken field, kick reception, strength. And I remember the ball getting hacked through to Neil Jenkins just outside his own quarter. And I looked up and there was a hooker and a back row forward, James Dalton, a back row forward, stood in front of me, 25 metres, 30 metres away, with 10 metres space outside. So before Jenkins actually picked the ball up, I called for it. Good as gold, he threw it to me. So the first bit is planned.
We knew when Bentos got the ball, there's no point in supporting him looking for a pass. You support him if he gets tackled then you're going to have to rock him.
So I go around the hook, I managed to get around the back row.
I saw him get it, he's coming back, and I thought, right, where can I get close and score pass or do something? Got past the halfway line, probably ran the opposition 10-metre line, and I think I've come on a scissors. And I felt that I would have been through if he gave me the ball, but Bentos would have thought, this is mine and mine only.
The fly half was covering across, cut inside him, cut inside another player, and ended up under the post getting tackled by the kid who slipped who cut inside.
It was one of the tries, one of the best tries we'll ever see in a game of rugby.
It's really interesting, your relationship that you talk about with Guska and your predetermined views on what he was potentially going to be like is a very human instinct. It's a very normal thing.
We're great friends. I love him to bits. And he was tailor-made for him to drop goal. I remember John taking it into contact and Dawson ended up throwing the ball back. We were 15 apiece. It was so dramatic. And of course, it had to be Jerry who dropped the drop goal. It went over. 3 minutes later, the final whistle went. And do you know, it was a crazy moment for me, that, Jim. It was an awkward moment. At the final whistle, we'd achieved what we'd set out to do. And, you know, frustratingly for me, I just stood there and I thought, there are so many places I want to be right now. I want to be with, there's everybody on the field, there's all the lads on the field, there's the boys who are a massive part of what we are in the stadium, but then there's my family back home. It's probably the biggest moment of my life. And I wanted to share it with my family, who were probably watching it, you know. So, and I remember thinking to myself afterwards, and I just stood there and thought, oh, God, no, why? Why of all the people, why did it have to be Gustav? But that's it.